When we come with that heat, we got skip on the.
I guess it's not a great shout
You better
out.
blur out the name so we don't get a lawsuit.
Tennessee is rumored to be joining back with the Adidas brand. There's a lot of Tennessee fans that don't like this move. Are you one of them, Jacob?
No, I personally do like Adidas. Pacers and the Knicks have been working very hard each series to come back from down big deficits. It was kind of crazy to see that happen to the Knicks because the Knicks had done that to Boston. And at that point, it wasn't crazy for us to see the Pacers do it because they'd done it versus the Cavs, versus the Bucks.
And welcome in episode 31, $million Radio. And I know we've been a little wishy-washy here in the last few weeks. I'll take the blame for that. It's not Jacob who's joining us today. It's not Griffin who is sick today and is not joining
food
us.
Poisoning.
What did he say he ate?
Asian Yummy. And this is no shade. I used to work there. I love that place. It's just not meant for everyone.
No free shout outs here, but I guess it's not a great
you
shout
better
out.
blur out the name. You better blur out the name so we don't get a lawsuit.
So yeah, Griffin's not here today. A couple weeks ago, I was down at the beach taking some time off, and then we came to the episode, and then last week I got called to Murfreesboro to call some state baseball tournament games for my old radio station, which I enjoyed doing. I just did not like the fact that I had to drive through treacherous storms to get there. As soon as I walked out of the house here to hit the road, I took 2 steps out of my front door and got a notification on my phone that we were under a tornado warning. So,
wow,
I ended up dipping and ducking and dodging all these different storms on the way to Murfreesboro. But hey, I got there, and
you're like in the movie Twisters.
Yeah, pretty much. And not even not even 5 minutes after I checked in at the hotel, it was just a torrential downpour. So I got there just in time. But Jacob, there is one thing I've got to mention before we really get started here, and it's not good. It's not good.
Oh yeah, you mentioned this to me before we came on. Yeah, you've been ducking the smoke like crazy.
I unfortunately have to give a shout out to a couple guys down in Florida. When I was down there on my vacation, my friend Seth and I decided to challenge another couple gentlemen in some cornhole, and Mr. Kyle and Cody defeated me and Seth 2-0 in a best-of-3 series to take the world title. The World Cornhole Championship was won, and it wasn't me or Seth, and, I could have played better. I'm sure Seth would say the same thing. It was a tough matchup. Wind was a factor, but there are no excuses. So shout out and congratulations to Mr. Kyle and Cody.
Congrats, guys.
Yeah. That's about all I'll say about it, but there's your shout out. I am a man of my word, Jacob. Always remember that. I did forget to mention it in the last episode, though. But Jacob, a lot's happened this weekend. Multiple sports, and here in Knoxville even, the Lady Vols softball team advanced to the College World Series after a 2-1 win in the series over Nebraska. Tennessee did fall in the first game to Nebraska, but ended up winning 3-2 on Saturday, and 1-0 after a home run in the first inning basically won the game for Tennessee yesterday.
Yeah, that was actually the only game I was able to watch. It was on ESPN, and yeah, man. Honestly, I was kind of nervous going into the final inning because, obviously Nebraska had a chance to run up the score if they wanted to see if they could steal the series right there. But thank God, Karlyn Pickens, man, came in clutch as the closer. She had a hell of a weekend, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. Karlyn Pickens, so the record for the fastest pitch in softball history was held by former Lady Vol Monica Abbott, who threw a 77-mile-an-hour pitch in the softball professional league. And so it wasn't at Tennessee when she did it, but she is a Vol for life. So she held the previous record at 77. Then Karlyn Pickens, a sophomore, shows up for Tennessee in the circle this year. And just a couple weeks ago, she broke that record with a 78.2 mile an hour pitch. And then yesterday broke her own record again with a 79.4 mile an hour pitch. So the three fastest pitches in softball history are all thrown by Lady Vols or former Lady Vols. And Jacob, what'd you say how does that compare to a baseball pitch?
Yeah, so I mean, if you look it up on Google, it'll say a 78 mile per hour softball pitch is equivalent between 101 and 109 miles per hour. I know that's kind of a big difference right there, but they say that the reason that it's the equivalent of that is because of the shorter distance from where the pitcher is and to where the batter is. They have less of a reaction time, or as much of a reaction time in that instance as a ball that's being thrown 101 miles per hour. So very impressive. And if you go and look at who's thrown some of the fastest pitches in college and MLB, it's going to be Ben Joyce, right?
Yeah.
I'm not much of a baseball guy. I'm sorry, but
Ben Joyce was a pitcher for the Vols a couple years ago. He's now with the Angels, I think, the LA Angels. But yeah,
he throws a hell of a ball too.
Yeah, he also throws hell of a strike. No, but sticking with the Vol baseball team, not the best season we've had, not the best regular season, definitely down the stretch in the SEC play. But they did get a couple big wins, or I think 3 big wins in the SEC tournament this past week. They defeated Alabama, they defeated Texas, and I want to say they won another game. I can't remember. But ultimately in the semifinal round, lost to Vanderbilt. Got run ruled against Vanderbilt 10-0 after 7 innings.
Wow.
Vanderbilt went on to win the whole tournament SEC championship yesterday against Ole Miss 3-2. But with the late surgence for the Vols here in this tournament, it has been decided that Tennessee baseball will hold the regional round this weekend here in Knoxville. Clap it up.
Let's go, Tony V.
So they don't want to see us get hot right now for sure. And I was saying that before the Vanderbilt game and didn't really work out too well for us. It was said that it is 12:13 now here on this Monday afternoon. It was said that the regional round and all the opponents and everything, the bracket will be set by noon. It will be announced what the bracket would be, but I'm not seeing that just yet.
Yeah, we'll put up on the screen. We'll definitely do that for sure. But yeah, man, it's been a heck of a weekend to be a volunteer in the baseball and softball world. Not really much has happened. I think in between last episode and this, regarding other Tennessee sports, Zakai Ziegler has issued a lawsuit towards the NCAA, wanting to have another year of eligibility, I think because he's wanting to pursue his master's degree, if I'm not mistaken. So, hey, man, I'm all for it. I feel like I would probably make fun of it if it was someone else.
Yeah, with all the stuff that you and Griffin said about Auburn starting 5, that would be
put the fries in the bag, top deal. But hey, man, I'm a little biased. I like to see Zakai come back, even though I really would like to see the other players step up. It would be really nice to see Zakai come back and beat Kentucky again.
Yeah, that would be funny. Shout out to Zakai. Hopefully we do get to have him for another year. But I will say that this would be kind of, I don't want to say a bad thing, a bad precedent to set for the NCAA, but really this all goes back to the COVID season in 2020 when basically 4-year players were getting an extra year because of that COVID year. And since then, we've seen people play 5 seasons, 6 seasons. We've seen some people that started their career in 2016 that are still playing or just had their last season last year or a couple years ago, which is absurd to me. But when you factor in the COVID year and red shirts and injury years and stuff like that, it does add up. But hopefully
Medical
we
red
do
shirts.
hopefully we do get to see Zakai come back. I don't exactly know what his situation was. Maybe it's junior college, a year or two that he played in junior college that he wants eligibility for.
I think he came here since high school, didn't he?
Then what would his case be? I guess I should know this already, but
I don't know.
I know he got hurt a couple years ago, but that was like midway through the season. We were already in SEC play.
We'd already played 32 games.
Yeah,
I think it's because he's wanting to pursue a master's degree, like his graduate studies, and so he's saying that because other players have gotten 5 years to play with extra eligibility and all that, that he should and others should in the same situation as well. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. Garza Law Firm is the ones pursuing that, so we'll see how that goes.
And I'm sitting here updating the NCAA baseball Twitter page, so hopefully that'll be announced here in just a second. But they're doing it very weirdly. Apparently it's live on ESPN2 right now. Mm-hmm. But I don't, we don't have that on. But they are updating it on Twitter, so
okay. We'll keep on the lookout for that. Maybe we'll come back to it at the end.
But in other news, Tennessee is rumored to be joining back with the Adidas brand, Jacob. After being with Nike since I think it was 2016. And there's a lot of Tennessee fans that don't like this move. Are you one of them, Jacob?
No, I personally do like Adidas. I'm a big Adidas fan. So
I'm wearing an Adidas hoodie right now.
Yeah, I would not be opposed to that. I think Adidas is really big worldwide, but Adidas is huge worldwide. Actually, they're way big in the world landscape, but in the national landscape, Nike is the bigger company. It would be really nice though if we were made wouldn't we be kind of like Oregon is with Nike, like the main school?
So that's what a lot of people don't understand is our Nike deal runs out, I think, in 2026. So next year, this will be our last football season with Nike if we do change. And from what I understand is Nike is absolutely lowballing Tennessee. We're a second-tier team to them, and Adidas is wanting to pay us exponentially more than Nike is, and also making us the focus of their brand in college athletics. So we would be Adidas's number one team, getting paid X amount more money than Nike's paying us, and which will go back into recruiting, NIL, this and that. We'll basically get a say in how our uniforms look. Not that we, I guess, didn't already have that, but with Adidas, they would be making us their number one team in college athletics, from my understanding. And instead of being on, the back burner for Nike, just, making whatever they are from us. But I think people forget that we were with Adidas as recently as Josh Dobbs was a Tennessee Volunteers quarterback. I'm thinking his last year was our first year with Nike, if I remember correctly. But the first year or two that we had Josh Dobbs, we were with Adidas, which isn't really that long ago. A lot's happened since then, I will say that. But, as far as Josh Dobbs last year with Tennessee, the Dobnail boot in Georgia, that Hail Mary to Jawan Jennings, and then the fall off towards the end of that year, firing Butch Jones, hiring Jeremy Pruitt, having him for a couple years, and then the COVID year, and then now we get Josh Heupel, and we've seen what's happened since then. But I think the Nike move was definitely good at the time because it brought in a lot more eyes to us. But now that Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers have, and not just, football. This would be with all sports. Basketball is doing their thing. Lady Vols basketball is doing their thing. Baseball and softball are two of the best programs in the country. It says a lot that we have the option to not only go our own way and do our own thing, but to be getting rewarded in such a way with Adidas if we do. And like I said, they're just rumors at this point, but
I would love if we did it.
I'd like to see it happen. I would
like to see it happen. I've always been an Adidas guy. I do have some Nike stuff I do enjoy, but I'm personally an Adidas guy, and I would like that Tennessee went back to that brand.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there, but
what do you think will happen?
We'll see what happens.
It's all speculation. It's all rumors, but what do you think would happen?
I think if these talks are true, rumors are rumors, but a lot of times rumors happen because there is, fire behind the flame, or however that saying goes.
Smoke.
Yes, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's how it is. So I think that with the landscape of NIL, with what we've seen happen with players wanting to ask for more money and this and that, people go where the money is. Nico, I guess Nico didn't go where the money was, but with everything,
where the offense was.
Yeah, apparently, with everything that's going on in the NIL world and how things have changed, I think the more money, the better going forward. Who knows? We may get to see programs like UT Martin and Chattanooga benefit from a move like this. I don't know if that would necessarily. I think UT Martin might still be Under Armour, but down the pipeline, these other schools may be able to benefit from the money that comes in. And I don't have any details on what the deal would be, but that's just, I'd like to see it happen. I think it will happen if it's an actual, thing that's moving forward, but only time will tell, Jacob. Only time will tell. But another thing that's been happening in this last week is the conference finals in the NBA, Jacob. Both series got up to 2-0 leads. The Thunder at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, basically just not really, the T-Wolves not putting up much of an effort in those first two games. And then in the Eastern Conference, we see the huge, crazy comeback in game one. The Pacers came back. Yep. They were down 14 points with around 2 or 3 minutes to go, and then 9 points in the last minute. Tyrese Halliburton called game, and then did the whole Reggie Miller choke symbol.
He loves playing the heel, dude.
Yeah, I love Halliburton, but
me too.
Yeah, it turns out his toe was on the line. Shout out KD. His toe was on the line.
I saw a comment. So we got the KD toe on the line, the Kawhi Leonard bounce into the rim, into the goal, and then the Reggie Miller choke all in one play.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so he shot the three, which he thought it was a three. His toe was on the line,
and he drew. What the thing was, he didn't just pull up. He drove in, and I guess Mitchell Robinson was right there, and he was like, "No shit, let me just pack this shit out real quick with 3 seconds left." Did a fadeaway jumper. And he was trying to make it a 3-pointer, and you take it from there.
The ball hits the very back of the iron, shoots straight up, and falls right in the hole. Nothing but net from that point on. They turned on the magnets whenever it went midair. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it was. The night before, Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay passed away. Rest in peace. And Pat McAfee said that it was Jim Irsay who grabbed the ball and put it right through the hoop. So a lot of moving parts on how that actually happened. But the bottom line is the Pacers.
Was he just chilling at the top of the backboard the whole game?
I guess. I'm not really sure. But bottom line is the ball went through the hoop. It ended up tying the game. Tyrese thought that he won the game in that moment, but then the Pacers go on to win in overtime, take game one in New York.
If you're going to do the choking sign in game one, you've got to win the game.
You got to win. You absolutely got to win.
Because if not, he's going to be put on a T-shirt, and it's going to go back to the Garden. Everyone's going to wear it. And dude, Obi Toppin had that what should have been an and one dunk. Remember that double clutch?
Oh yeah,
right there. That was a good play. Hey, Pacers and the Knicks have been working very hard each series to come back from down big deficits. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of it was kind of crazy to see that happen to the Knicks because the Knicks had done that to Boston and all that stuff. It wasn't at that point. It wasn't crazy for us to see the Pacers do it because they'd done it versus the Cavs versus the Bucks. You know, they've been coming down and
they've been doing it all playoffs.
Exactly. It was weird seeing the Knicks being on the other side of that.
But I didn't watch game 2. Go ahead.
Speaking of that though, the Pacers were on this side of that for game 3 because they had a 20-point lead. They're up 2-0. They have a 20-point lead, and the Knicks just go on these huge defensive stretches, man, huge. They get stops, and they're actually able to score a little bit, and they make it a game with. I guess Cat had like 20.
Cat had 20 plus in the fourth, yeah.
So, my gosh,
man, Cat say what you want, but like if he's playing like that, you know he's up there as far as big men in the NBA for sure.
Absolutely.
The way he was penetrating down low and did you see the dunk he had in the fourth quarter? Oh my goodness, that was one of the nastiest dunks I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. But not only that, he was hitting threes. He hit a 3 that could have been a 4-point play, no foul called, but he was falling back, actually fell to the ground, and I was like, "There's no way that's going in," and then it just swished pretty much. But
he took that benching in game 2 personally because in game 2 he was benched in the fourth for Mitchell Robinson, and that really that lost the Knicks the game in my opinion because they didn't have really any shooting. You know, they couldn't stretch the floor like that, and Mitchell Robinson's a liability if he gets fouled and goes to the line. You know. Yeah. They've made it a good series. The Knicks saved their season last night.
So the Knicks saved their season last night, making it 2-1 going into game 4, I guess, tomorrow night. In game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, it was pretty much all Timberwolves all game. So they also made that series 2-1 going into tonight. And Jacob, I got a question. What game 3 win to you meant more? Was it the Timberwolves coming out and smacking the Thunder, or was it the Knicks keeping their season alive against the Pacers?
You know, when you first told me about that, I've been just thinking about it a lot, and I really didn't know because both were just so crucial. You cannot go down 3-0, obviously. No one's ever come back from that deficit. But in my opinion, in basketball, no one's ever come back from that.
I was thinking LeBron with the Cavs, but that was 3-1. You're right.
Yeah, no one has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. So I think the Wolves coming out and changing their game plan was the more important in the series because what the Knicks and the Pacers did wasn't really much anything different. It was more just execute, hit your free throws, and rebound, you know. But the Wolves, they test out a new strategy for them at least, for them to double Shea and make the other guys like Holmgren and J-Dub beat you on the 3. And I think they'll live with that if that happens. But it doesn't look like it's happening because Chet's shot isn't falling as good. So I think the Wolves doubling Shea and winning by 40 points, I think that was the bigger win in each respective series.
Yeah. What series are you more excited for? I know my answer.
Probably Knicks Pacers, I think, because each game has been close. Right, each game's been right down to the wire. You know, with the Wolves and Oklahoma City, each game has been a blowout. It doesn't matter who won; it's just been a blowout each game. So I think we'll actually see a little more competitiveness in the series going forward because of the new strategy. I'm sure OKC has something up their sleeve that they're going to pull out. But honestly, Knicks Pacers. I mean, I'd be entertained if that was a finals matchup. You know, obviously it's not because of the Eastern Conference, but I'm saying each game is like a 2 or 3 point deficit going with, you know, two minutes in the game. So
yeah,
that's what I'm more excited about.
I saw something on X that said if we did get a Thunder versus Pacers NBA Finals, that would be 2 teams that built their backbone off of trading Paul George.
Yeah. which is crazy. And a lot of people look back at the Paul George Shea trade for OKC and the Clippers as a fleece. And looking back on it, yes, obviously the Clippers gave up everything, lost the trade completely. But at the time, I don't think it was a bad trade. Paul George finished third in MVP voting, and he was hell of a player, especially coming after that really horrific injury at the Team USA exhibition. That he was in his prime right there. But that would be interesting if the Pacers and OKC make it. That would be very interesting.
Yeah,
I would hate to see a Knicks OKC finals though because of the foul baiting from each.
Oh
of the
my
star
goodness,
players.
that would be crazy. I don't know who would win that series, honestly.
That would be crazy, but I don't know. I do like that we're going to get a new champion regardless. Without these matchups, there's not going to be, no one's won a ring yet.
Yeah.
So,
and I was talking to my friend. Go ahead.
Well, I was also talking to my friend last night. If the Pacers ended up going to the finals and winning, this is what he asked. Who would be the finals MVP? Would it be Tyrese Halliburton? Because, he's he'll put up like 19 and 10, I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see. Because they're such a good, deep team,
Yeah. It could be, it would probably be Halliburton if I had to guess, but it also could be dependent on the matchup down low with Pascal Siakam. It could be Nesmith coming out and hitting a bunch of clutch threes at the end of a game.
Well, that's kind of what I told him. I was like, it would almost be like a 2016 Golden State Warriors versus Cavs Game 7. If the Warriors win that Game 7, Draymond Smith wins Finals MVP. You know what I mean? Because he came out, he scored like 30-something points. He was hitting threes like crazy. And he may not have been the MVP of the series, but he was probably going to win it had they won that game. I think if the series went like that with the Pacers and the Pacers win like a close game at the end of the series, it'd probably be whoever was the best player in that last game. You know what I mean? That clutched it up for him.
So who do you...
It was a very interesting question.
What I was going to say is I was talking with my friend Seth about this whole thing, we're to the conference finals. There's no LeBron, no Luka, no Kevin Durant, no Steph Curry, not even Jason Tatum and the Celtics. It's the new age of the NBA is here. The people that are going, whoever it is that gets the torch from LeBron and Steph and KD and all them, whoever is getting that torch, like they're here now. There's moving forward, these are going to be the guys that carry the NBA. Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson and Cat, and then Shea and Chet and the Thunder. And the Thunder have been one of the best teams over the last couple of years. They've also been one of the youngest teams over the last, 4 or 5 seasons, however long it's been. And now they're getting all that experience that they need here in these big games in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And they could be the one. They're definitely the betting favorite to win it all at this point.
And that Game 7 versus Denver was such a crucial moment for that young core as well. You know what I mean? Because I don't think they had really seen anything like that up until that point, especially going up against a team that had championship experience, So I do completely agree. I don't know if I see any of the Eastern Conference teams winning it, though. I feel like if the Wolves win or if the Thunder win, then that's going to be the person who raises the Larry O'Brien trophy. But I could be wrong. Pacers are so deep and they run so fast. I don't know. I think them versus OKC would actually be probably the best matchup because both teams are really deep and each team goes on these insane runs. OKC in the third quarter is almost like the Golden State Warriors in the third quarter. Remember, like when Golden State went to halftime of games, you'd be like, we got to watch them come out, smoking.
Yeah.
Whoever they're playing. It's almost like that,
So who do you think? Who do you think is going to be meeting in the finals? Is it going to be the Thunder and the Pacers? I think that's my pick.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's easy to say that because they're both up 2-1 in the series, but they're up 2-1. They're up 2-1 for a reason. I could give you a better answer after tonight when we see the Wolves versus Thunder. But That's what I would say right now. Yes, Thunder versus Pacers, which would be such a cool storyline, like you said, the Paul George trade and stuff.
And I don't think Griffin said this on the podcast, but he did say at one point before this series started that he had the Pacers in 5. And right now it's looking like that could happen.
The math could work.
Mathematically, it is possible.
In this one time in the podcast, didn't he say like Celtics in 6, and then he changed it to me? I forgot what he exactly said, but
he was saying Knicks in 5, and then against the Celtics, and then in the same episode said that the Celtics were going to win the series.
It's like, what the hell? That's funny.
But Jacob,
he knows how to switch up.
Oh yeah, he's a waffler. Jacob, we do have the breaking news we've all been looking for. In the Knoxville Regional, Tennessee will be hosting Miami, Ohio, Cincinnati, and Wake Forest. Wake Forest is the 2 seed, Cincy is the 3 seed, Miami, Ohio, the 4 seed. And I don't exactly know how this is all set up. I know the Super Regionals will be like a 1v1 type deal, best of 3 series. I'm not exactly sure. I think the regionals may be single elimination and you're done. Yeah. I could be wrong about that, but regardless, we do have the teams that Tennessee will be facing. Oh, yeah. Miami, Ohio will probably be, I guess the way that works will be 1v4 and then 2v3. So it should be Tennessee versus Miami, Ohio, and then Cincy and Wake Forest. Yeah. And then the winners will move on to play each other more than likely. But
I gotcha. Yeah. I have this picture right here. I'll send it to you. It's full bracket. It's the full bracket. But yeah. Wow. I guess regionals it's campus or neutral sites, double eliminations, first round pairings, and then super regionals, best of 3 games.
Okay. So I guess it is double elimination then, but it's good news for Tennessee. If we have a game where we came out like against Vanderbilt, it's not going to be good. It'll be our early exit. But anyways, so the regionals are set. The NBA conference finals will continue to be played out. Lady Vols to the College World Series in softball. A lot's going on, Jacob. But do you have a $1 Million Radio song pick of the week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. So this is in honor of old band that's been around forever. Well, I say forever, since the 2000s. Maybe that is forever for some people. But they've actually been doing house parties lately. And it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do "Move Along" by All American Rejects because I really respect what they're doing.
Classic right there.
Yeah, I really respect what they're doing.
They're just going around to different random small colleges and going to frat parties and setting
towns
up.
And literally like playing in people's backyards.
It's honestly genius.
Farms.
It's genius. They're taking over TikTok and everything right now.
And they were in Nashville a few nights ago, and the address for the location got leaked. So there was people like, it was out on the streets and. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's really cool. So in honor of that, in honor of them staying up to Ticketmaster, in honor of them bringing back that house party energy, Move Along, All American Rejects. Great album too.
Oh yeah, classic for sure. I'm going to stick with my band that I've been with over the last few weeks.
You're kidding. It's Sleep Token.
Yeah, dude. I just like I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Jessamine, you know that song off the new album, right? Mm-hmm. Honestly, it sounds like, if you go listen to it, it'll sound like it's Polyphia. Okay. And then you're like, oh no, this is definitely Sleep Token. But Sleep Token, Jessamine on the new album, Even in Arcadia. This may be the last song that I use Sleep Token for the near future, but I'm gonna have to start spicing it back up again. But Jessamine, Sleep Token on the album Even in Arcadia. That album is at least it opened up as the #1 album in the country across all genres, which is great for rock music in my opinion. But Sleep Token's getting to that point where they're probably one of the biggest bands out right now for sure. But any last words, Jacob? Episode 31, $1 Million Radio. We should be back next week. Who knows what the future holds, but I'm glad to be able to get this episode out with Jacob right here. And for more videos, merch, anything like that, head over to mdminds.com and help support the boys over here. But as far as episode 31, I guess that'll do it. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.